It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Thursday, February 20th to all across the Delaware Valley. This is the Anthony Gargano Show presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. TrueMark.com/PHLY to find out the credit union difference. All right, so it's official. Kevin Patullo is now the Eagles' new OC. And it's amazing to me, listening to my former profession on the radio, how much people don't like it. And I just got to tell you, I don't even understand it. I don't get the skepticism that you're going to have. Now, I can't tell you that Kevin Patullo is going to be a wizard calling the game, but how do you not go with Kevin Patullo? I don't know who's out there, right? Like that guys, and I know Byron Leftwich is a good name. There's some guys out there, but you want continuity. Like continuity is a big deal. Having someone that's been the coordinator for your passing game, that's why you have these people take a step up. That's the whole point of it. Like you get upward mobility. Well, you got to have someone that called plays before. Well, at some point, you got to be a first. You got to trust that some guy can call the plays. I mean, it's not rocket science calling plays when you're a coach. Like, you understand it. You're an offensive coach. You get the plays that you're going to call. Like, you run your offense. There's a system in place. You've been around it. Kevin's been around it forever. I mean, I don't even understand the negativity that's raining down. If you just take it from face value, you're not going to trust this team? Like, seriously? All they do is show you how good they are at handling this sort of thing. 3 Super Bowls, right? Since 2017. You've won 2 of them. You have been a stalwart. At some point, they deserve the benefit of the doubt that say, all right, I get it. Now, I hear you that in the past, under Doug, it didn't work, right? I get it. Brian Johnson didn't pan out. But that doesn't mean that you don't go with Patullo. Like, here's somebody that's different. Everybody's their own situation. And I think that Nick Sirianni also deserves the grace to make the selection. Right? I think, listen, he runs it by Howie. Everybody's on the whole coaching staff. Everybody's on the same page. Kevin's ready. Let's give him a shot. We'll see what happens. All right? Like, I don't, again, you need somebody that's familiar with the system, somebody that's familiar with Jalen, somebody who understands the offense, kind of what you're trying to do, how well they have married their offense and their defense. Hurts is also a different quarterback than he was in the last couple of years. Like, he's grown, right? You've seen him grow. You've seen him evolve as a quarterback. I'm sure it's going to be collaborative. They've already been collaborative with Kellen Moore was collaborative with Jalen. So that's going to be the same situation. I don't understand it because I heard a lot of really negativity surrounding him, surrounding this hire, and I just don't get it. I don't get it. I hear great things about him. I've heard great things about him before. We'll talk to Z Berman and get his thoughts as well. We got lots to cover today. Going to be a busy day. It is the final of the 4 nations. USA, Canada, the rematch. Cannot wait for this one tonight. And Brian Boucher, who was on the call for TNT during this tournament, is going to join us coming up in about 15 minutes or so. Bouch is great, man. I've loved this tournament. I'm so into it. Can't wait for tonight. Go USA, USA. They're a blast to watch. It's going to be a great game. So looking forward to that. As always, on a Thursday from the editor's desk to go over the top stories, and our man Danny D. That's right, our fun AD from St. Joe's Prep, who joins us weekly to talk about high school and youth sports and everything else. The big tournament last night at the Palestra, the semifinals. Prep goes down. I know my man was in attendance last night. Good morning, VG.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Italia. Love this hiring. Yes. You got Joey making some pasta over there in the corner. It's going to be a good season. Not feeling it? What's up?
Italia!
Hey. Shut up, Andrew.
Manja.
Oh, God. You're a disgrace. You're a disgrace. You're not Italian. There's no way in the world you're Italian. I know your last name's Caputo, but there's no way in the world you're
not
Italian.
adopted. I'm not adopted.
You're not. There's no way. I can't claim you. All right? Right away, you play that trash.
Ah, man, it's a beautiful
right
song.
Away, pasta, manja.
Feet
right?
stomping.
Like right away, it goes down to food. Forget the fact that he spent a lifetime in football. Did you do the same thing for Vic Fangio?
Yes.
Who created this incredible defense?
Yeah, we celebrate. He talked about the good food over at Palladium and, Saloon.
Palladium's a bar.
They got good
All
bar
right.
food there.
Dude, I grew up in Palladium.
Yeah, you knocking the food there?
That's not the point. It's not about food. It's about football. And that you diminish it and you mock it.
I'm happy.
No, you're not.
I am.
You're a self-loathing. I don't even know what you are. You're not even. You're a Wonder Bread Italian.
I'm more Italian than him.
When Z Berm comes up, can you put his name as Zach Bermanelli? Let's add some vowels to Zach Berman's name today when he comes on.
Zach Bermo.
Bermano. Yeah, Zach Bermano. From where are we from? Puglia. That's where we're from, right? We're brothers.
Just don't. All right. I'm already annoyed. 8 minutes into the show, I'm annoyed.
Yeah.
He's got me annoyed.
Come on, we're from the same area.
You're not from. You're
Vico del Gargano. We're from the same area.
You're not from my area. There's no way that your people is from my area. You're definitely adopted. You have to be adopted. My God. Can we talk about the hire from a football standpoint,
Let's do
please?
it. Yes.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And Frazier, if I hear one note out of you, all right, your ass is in trouble.
I'm sealed up.
All right.
Yes.
The hire.
What else? I mean, I understand people's concerns. Let's acknowledge them. They're valid concerns, I think.
Are they?
Yeah.
To trash it?
I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's trash.
I heard one dude who should never talk football trash the hire.
I don't know how you can trash it.
I mean, you got to be kidding me.
What does anyone know about Kevin
First of all,
Patullo?
he doesn't. He couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
Right. You don't know what he's doing.
Like at some point, you just got to trust Nick and Howie and go, all right, you know what?
Well, I think there's an inherent distrust with Nick with the play calling in the offense. So people are weary of that.
Why? Because it was so bad this year?
Well, no, because Kellen was calling the plays this year.
No, but it was funny. You act like he had nothing to do with the offense. He still created the offense. It's funny. You, all year long, wanted to pick any mistake. Oh, that was Nick.
That was only the first 4 weeks. You're living in the past, man. That was like September, bro. Come on, man. This is post-September.
No, man.
Once they had the bye week.
I'm for it. All you people, I'm not standing for you, man. No,
you leave us Wonder Bread Italians alone, as Lawrence in the chat's called. No, I mean, I understand that people's concerns, but the trash, no one knows what Patullo's been doing in the room. He's the passing game coordinator, which includes the RPO, which is the bulk of, the offense. So I get it. And even if you hate it, even if everything else, Nick's earned this. If this is Nick's boy, he's earned the right to bring his boy in at this point. So deal with it.
It's not bringing him in out of it. It's not
I know.
It's not like, he's a guy that went to high school with Nick.
Yeah, he's not from Mount Union.
And Nick's going, I'm going to bring my friend from Mount Union in to be the OC. Right. He's been there. He's worked it. He's paid dues.
Yes.
Let's see it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm annoyed. Is that right away? Can I just want to enjoy this too. Like this is a great period of time.
Peep.
I'm stunned. They're the best team in football by far. They're a historic team.
But to be devil's advocate, not to irritate you, they became that with they brought in a seasoned, experienced play caller. That's what people are saying and thinking, and they're worried about a first-time play caller being a dynasty derailer of some sorts. And I think you have to acknowledge that concern, but they deserve the benefit of the doubt.
All right,
I believe that.
All right, I want to go to my man who covers the birds for all PHLY. What's that mean?
Oh,
he said 4 minutes.
He said 4 minutes?
Yep.
Yeah, he's holding up numbers.
He's getting some cappuccino, trying to join the crew.
He just don't stop. You're going to do this all day, aren't you?
No.
You're going to do this
just
all
for
day.
The first half hour.
You're just going to do this
just
all
so
day.
we start talking hockey.
Thank God I got a real journalist and Pat McClune, the editor. I can get a real football conversation going. Thank God.
Please have Pat come on with some kind of Italian
no,
gear. Like a little curly mustache.
I did my bit.
He would never do that.
I did my bit.
He would never do that.
Come on,
Andrew
Pat.
knows not to do that.
Yeah.
All right? Andrew, we're serious about this stuff.
So the person, let's just say, we're not naming names, but people in the chat, it's not Nick Wright that you're talking about that has crapped on this hire. It's not a national person.
No, but I don't know what Nick Wright says.
Whatever.
Wright,
he's always wrong.
He says
Nick's
something
wrong.
I don't know.
The guy's always wrong.
I just think it's ridiculous. Again, I think the whole concept is ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone can just trash the pick.
Again, all right. Without a doubt, you would not anybody that comes in without experience of calling plays. Okay, yeah. I mean, I think that's obvious that you look at it and go, okay, well, that could be a concern. All right.
Right.
Easy.
Yeah.
Beyond that, to trash it when you don't even know who the guy is or what he's done or what he's accomplished, I think, I don't know. I mean, I just hear things,
what is
right?
the basis
I
of it?
don't work, unless you're working side by side on that staff.
Right.
You have, it's impossible to tell. I can only tell you, I hear good things, but again, that's coming from inside. So, of course, I want to hear good things, right? Mm-hmm. But I've heard good things, over the last couple of years about him. Like he's a sharp guy, all right? I'm sure Zach is going to come on and tell you the same thing,
right?
Because that you hear it. But again, it's coming from the inside, and of course, they're gonna color it their way.
So are the haters that they didn't even bother doing a search and talk to people?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't get the whole concept of it, of a team that should have earned your trust.
Yeah, they've got mine. I mean,
they should. I mean, I'm not telling you you're going to be some blind lemming, but I mean, let's be real here for a second.
I mean, I'm coming.
What they've done and what they've accomplished,
pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good. To trash is extreme. You shouldn't be trashing this hire. He's been in that room with, Kellen Moore and all that stuff all year long. He's learned this offense. He's been there for years. He's been a part of the scheming of the offense. Like, give the guy a chance. He hasn't even stepped a foot in the role yet. Give him a chance. He hasn't even stepped a foot in the role yet. Give the guy a chance. To go above and beyond and trash him, I think is a violation.
Well, it's trashing the hire. I mean, I don't even know if the guy even knows. Whatever. It's irrelevant. I'm just because I only bring out the one opinion because I've heard it echoed on social media and everything and other people. That's it. I mean, there's a segment of people that believe that it's that don't like the hire. I'm like, all right.
I come from a place where I've been a vocal critic of Howie Roseman's, a vocal critic of Nick Sirianni, and they've both proven that they deserve the benefit of the doubt. I'm in. Nothing's gonna ruin this high right now with the Eagles for me.
Well, that's the
you
other
gotta be
thing.
kidding me right now. Let's go.
And then there's that.
It's only been 10 days, 12 days.
And then there's the fact that they were fresh off of a Super Bowl, right? Like that, Sunday will be 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
I'm feeling all right.
Pretty good. All right, while we wait, we have Zach now. All right, let me, I want to get to Zach on this, and then we'll have Boucher. But joining us from the all PHLY Eagles, you trust him. He is fantastic. Our man on the inside, Zach Berman. Zachariah.
Hey, good morning. Good talking to you guys.
You too, brother. Well, listen, we could all sit here and talk about this, but you're the one that's on the inside and that has an inside track and knowledge. So your thoughts on the hire?
Yeah, this was the expected hire. I'll start with that. And we've been talking about this for a few weeks. So you had time to prepare for it. I spent about 40 minutes with Kevin Patullo during Super Bowl week preparing for this. So my thoughts on it is that here's someone who has 2 decades of NFL experience, has worked for 5 different teams. There's the continuity in place, knows what the Eagles have run during the past 4 years, know what Kellen Moore brought in last year, has the relationship throughout the offense, including with Jalen Hurts, and the Eagles did value continuity here. I was listening to you before. Yeah, the lack of play calling is kind of the lack of play calling experience is what people want to know. And as you mentioned, the only way to get experience doing it is by doing it. You have to get your first time. The reality of the coaching cycle is that when you're hiring an OC or a defensive coordinator after the Super Bowl, the pool of candidates it's limited. All these other teams have filled their staffs. So you're either getting someone who's been out of work for a while, or you're getting someone who's getting a promotion, and in those cases they typically don't have play calling experience. But what stands out about Patullo is the amount of different offenses he's been in, exposure to different systems, the different quarterbacks, working with Nick Sirianni. I know there's concern from Eagles fans that this is Sirianni kind of getting his way, and this might be a puppet for Sirianni, for lack of a better term. I spoke to Kevin Patullo about this specifically, and he insisted that if you spend any time with them, if you're in that room, they disagree. They have friendly, competitive conversations about this, and that he is his own person. So we'll see how it goes, but this was the expected hire.
So tell people a little bit about him and his background. You mentioned the 5 different teams. The fact that, I don't think people realize the length of his resume and the fact that he's been at it for a long time. There's this kind of notion out there that Nick's bringing in his buddy from Mount Union.
Yeah, no.
He's joking about that.
No, it's the exact opposite. Actually, this is how they met. Kevin Patullo was the quality control coach for the Kansas City Chiefs back in 2008, okay? And he goes on, he gets a job with the Bills. The person who replaces him with this was like 2010, 2011. The person who replaces him with the Chiefs is Nick Sirianni. So Chan Gailey, the offensive coordinator at the time, tells Patullo, tells Sirianni, call Kevin Patullo and find out about this role. What does the quality control coach guy have to do? That's how they struck their relationship. Since then, Patullo, he's been in Buffalo. He's been with the New York Jets. He was the quarterback's coach with the Jets. He's been with the Tennessee Titans. He was at Texas A&M. He was with the Colts. He was with the Eagles, right? So he's been a quarterback's coach in the league. He's been a wide receivers coach in the league. He's been a passing game coordinator in the league. This is not like his first job was with Nick Sirianni with the Eagles. He's been in the NFL longer than Sirianni. He has 2 decades of experience. He's been interviewed for offensive coordinator jobs before elsewhere in the NFL. So he's someone who's been on the radar of a number of teams. This is not like Nick just hiring his friend.
Tell us about his philosophy. You sat with him. You understand. Yeah. Give us a little insight into what his philosophy is.
Yeah, so really it's you look at what the Eagles were doing those first 3 years in 2022 in particular. He was working close with Shane Steichen then. Like him and Shane and Nick and Brian Johnson, there were a lot of different voices there, but he helped design that Eagles offense that was setting records in 2022, right? He was the one with Kellen Moore this past spring. it was the two of them kind of bringing together what the Eagles did those first 3 years and what Kellen Moore was bringing in and meshing it together. During the bye week, Kevin Patullo was a big part of the offensive changes of going to the run. So it's not as if he's come up in one different coach. I'm sorry, one coaching school. He's worked for Chan Gailey, like I mentioned. He's worked for Ken Wisenhunt. He's obviously for Frank Reich and Nick Sirianni. He's had exposure to a lot of different coaches and a lot of different systems.
So, obviously, Jalen spoke about it and was kind of cryptic because that's kind of what Jalen, does. How do you read their relationship?
Yeah, my understanding of that, because I've talked to some people about that, is Jalen didn't want to speak out of turn in this sense that look, it was kind of understood in the building that Patullo was the expected hire, but there is a process that has to be in place. You have to interview two external candidates, two external minority candidates to satisfy the Rooney Rule, right? And so my understanding was at the time, Jalen probably didn't want it to be like this is a foregone conclusion. And if you listen to what Jalen said, he doesn't know Kevin Patullo in the offensive coordinator role. The coordinator role is different than the passing game coordinator, different than the associate head coach. But yeah, Jalen was cryptic there, and it did come off, if I'm being candid, it came off like a lukewarm endorsement. My understanding is that was not the intent of it. The intent of it was to try to not put the cart before the horse. But if you're asking about the background with him and Jalen, I mean, he's been in those meetings in the room with Jalen for 4 years now, right? So this is not like the type of thing where when the players report in April, Kevin Patullo has to introduce himself to Jalen Hurts. They've worked together. They know each other, and the Eagles did value continuity here.
So their relationship, is it good? I mean, is it do you expect it to be collaborative? Jalen's a different quarterback than he was, in a couple of years ago. Just 2 years ago when Brian Johnson took over, we know how close they were. But now he's different. He called the protections this year. He's evolved. It's another year under his belt. So my guess is that it would be more of a little bit of a collaborative process.
Yeah, it's a good question, Anthony, because the expression I've used whenever someone asks me is this is not going to be Kevin Patullo's offense or Nick Sirianni's offense. This is going to be Jalen Hurts' offense. And I believe that, and there probably be some organizational pushback if they're watching right now in me saying that. But I think Jalen I think there's going to be some muscle flexing from Jalen in that regard because he is the franchise guy and he's the common thread here is that no matter who they bring in, it's going to be Jalen Hurts running this offense. So, when I look at how Jalen's had now going back to college, a different play caller every year other than 21 to 22 with Shane Steichen. Jalen is used to this. I can't tell you specifically about their relationship. I did speak to Kevin about it. They get along, they work together. But as you mentioned, Brian Johnson and Jalen Hurts, they go back to when Jalen was growing up and Brian played for Jalen's dad. But it's always a different dynamic when it's coordinator and quarterback, play caller and quarterback. The one thing I'll add to this is it's not just Jalen, and this is something that's been mentioned to me by a number of different people, number one, and that I spoke to Kevin about, is that the Eagles offensive coordinator job is unique in the sense that you have an extraordinarily powerful offensive line coach, run game coordinator, and Jeff Stoutland. Like, Jeff Stoutland has a lot of sway in that building in the offensive game plans. You have these high-profile players. You have this offensive line that, as Kevin said, it's like player coaches in a way. So if you're the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, you have to have a lot of input from the people, the different people in the building. If you remember this time last year or a little earlier, there was thought of Cliff Kingsbury potentially being an offensive coordinator with the Eagles. And one thing that I heard was, well, how's that going to mesh with what Jeff Stoutland does from the running game? Because Jeff Stoutland has a very defined. So if you're the OC here, you have a lot of different voices that you're bringing together.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Hey, my brother, listen, we appreciate you're always on top of things. You're always ready to go. You're always prepared. Thank you, my brother. We appreciate you immensely.
Appreciate that. I would tell the audience we have 2,500 words up right now on Kevin Patullo on allphly.com from a 40-minute conversation I had with him at the Super Bowl. So check that out right now.
I love it. Always have. He's always ready, man.
I love he's a word count, man.
Dropping 25 on it.
Spoken like a true writer.
That's right.
I appreciate it, guys.
Yep. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Here he is, Z Berm. Make sure you're an insider, that you are a diehard. You get all Z Berm's work. All right. Joining us, I'm very excited because our next guest, first of all, I love him, man. We go way back. When he was, you don't even know this, when he was taking the Flyers by storm in net, I took him out. I was at the Inquirer, and I wrote a piece. I took him to dinner. We went to my buddy Ace's place on Oregon Avenue, Manja, and I took him to dinner and wrote a big piece on him for the Inquirer. He's a great broadcaster. He was just killing it on TNT during the Four Nations. And, of course, the finals tonight is on ESPN. Let's welcome in from TNT and, of course, Flyers broadcast, our buddy Boucher, Brian Boucher. What's up, Boucher?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
You
I don't
remember
know if we ever get in there. That was a lengthy segment there prior. I thought we were going to cut into my workout, Anthony. I was going to have to bail on you there for a second.
Well, you know what it's like here, right? The Eagles make a move at an offensive coordinator, and it's like, oh my God, we got to make sure we touch on it.
I get it. I hear you, man. It's all good. It's all good. How you guys doing?
Good, brother. Yeah, you remember that night back in the day?
I do.
You and I in Manja, Oregon Avenue.
Went to a Sixers game. Yeah.
That's right. Went to the Sixers game. That's right. That's awesome. I forgot about that part.
I mean, from our last talk, when we talked to Jonesy in the beginning of the season, I mean, Bush has become one of my Flyers heroes, probably right after Lindros. Because according to Jonesy, you were the one who brought Van Halen in as a suggestion as the goal song. And I couldn't be happier and prouder every time I hear that music play. So thank you for that. Thank you for that.
So what happened was I was watching a preseason game that I wasn't doing, and it was replaying. And this is when Jonesy's president, and I'm listening to the goal song, and I'm like, what the hell are we listening to? I don't even know what song this is. It's just like noise that was hurting. And I was like, why don't we go back to some old school stuff, you know, when things were humming. So Van Halen was what I told him. The next day he had it changed. And I thought I was just joking around, like poking fun. And he goes and makes a change. So
we're indebted to you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it. Me
Love
too.
It. Yes.
Yeah.
So this tournament has been incredible, Boucher. I mean, absolutely thrilling. I've seen every second of it. What's it like? What was it like calling it and being a part of it right there on ice?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, although the game that we did for TNT, for all intents and purposes, was a meaningless game, right? I mean, the U.S. clinched a spot in the final. Sweden was eliminated by the regulation win for Canada in the afternoon game. But just the, I got to be honest with you. I mean, the crowd, it wasn't as rambunctious as the crowd in Montreal. But there were your USA chants in the building. It just felt different. Going to Boston, oftentimes it's not a fun environment for visitors, especially with the Flyers. I mean, we've had some pretty good battles in there, but to be on the home side of it felt pretty good. But you could just tell that these players care. And like at the start of that game, for a game that meant nothing, Brady Tkachuk went out and had 4 hits in the first 2 shifts. And unfortunately, he ended up getting nicked up in that game and left probably for precautionary reasons. But you could tell that even though the game didn't mean anything, that they were still going to play hard. And the U.S. team, unfortunately, had a couple of big horses out that game, and that's probably why they lost to Sweden. And maybe the goaltending of Sam Ersson, who played terrifically for Sweden. Good for him and good for the Flyers. But it was a good game. It's a great atmosphere. Tonight's going to be unbelievable. This is going to be the biggest game that we see all year. And when I say biggest game we see all year, bigger than any Stanley Cup final game that's going to happen in the spring.
So set the scene here. We saw the first one and the 3 fights to start the game. And it was, hey, We're going to go out and we're going to be physical, and we're going to go, and it was purposeful to go out and right from the jump to do it. How does this one start?
Well, I don't know if we'll see 3 fights in 9 seconds, but I can tell you that there could be fights in this game without question. I mean, I think the animosity is real. And I'll tell you why it is real. As an American, this is how I feel when I go around the rinks, and now even as I do broadcasting, there is, with Canadian players and the Canadian culture, we are just visitors. We are guests to their game, okay? And that's how you feel, whether they do it intentionally or not. There are people that make you feel like you're just a visitor to their game, and we should respect it as such. Whereas Americans, we have this idea that, you know what, we take what is ours and we belong here and we come with a chip on our shoulder. And I think that is what we saw in that game last Saturday. That, you know, and let's be honest, some of the world political climate played a role in it. I mean, to sit here and say that it had nothing to do with it is not true.
Right.
I mean, Trump doing what he's doing and saying what he's saying angered Canadian fans. They booed the anthem. Matthew Tkachuk's quote after the first game against Finland, where he said, "I didn't like it," and that's all I'm going to say about that. I mean, that was a pretty strong quote. And they wanted to make a statement. They did. It was like a perfect storm of a lot of things coming together. We haven't had international hockey like this in a long time. And these players who are in the United States, we now have a different crop of top players in the NHL than we ever did. Probably the last crop we had like this was the '96 World Cup, where we had legit NHL stars representing the United States. We can go punch for punch with anybody right now, and these guys were hungry to prove it. And tonight is going to be an amazing game. I just hope that I know Charlie McAvoy's out. That's a huge loss on the back end for the USA, but I hope Matthew is able to play. I hope Austin Matthews is okay, and I hope Brady's okay, because we're going to need all those guys in order to get a victory. I say we as if I'm playing. Well, I'm an American. I'm cheering for the red, white, and blue tonight.
Yeah, well, damn right, because listen, I'm sure that you had to deal with a lot of biases. They, you know, they're the elites, right? You know, the Canadian players are the elites, and you, I'm sure during your rise in the game, that you had to just to break through. I mean, there is a certain thing about American players.
We are always the little brother, right? We are always the little brother. And I think at times we've been too respectful and we've kind of let them, you know, run all over us. And then there were times where we stood up for ourselves. And, you know, I think you go back to 1996, the World Cup that took place prior to the season starting. The games were in Montreal and Philadelphia. That was the best hockey I have ever laid eyes on prior to what I saw last Saturday. And that's almost 30 years ago. I don't care about any Stanley Cup final we've witnessed in recent history. It's not even close. And the Olympics will not even be close. And I'll tell you why, because in the Olympics, you got different set of officiating. It's governed by the IIHF, international rules. You may as well not even have hitting in that tournament. You know, so you can build your team in a different way with all skill and puck handling and puck possession. Whereas in these rules, in the World Cup and in this Four Nations tournament, it's NHL rules. So fights can happen, intimidation can happen. Brady Tkachuk, he ran Drew Doughty the other night. He almost put him in the 10th row. That in the Olympics would have gotten a 5-minute major review and perhaps a suspension. I mean, so to think next year the Olympics is going to be this intense, it may not be, because of the way the rules are set up in that tournament, which will be disappointing. But the good news is 2 years later, we'll have a World Cup, so we can get after it like this.
Well, what I loved too is that in the first game, I mean, that was the plan. I mean, the plan was, beyond the fights, the plan was, hey, we're going to be really physical. You know, we get about it, McDavid, McKinnon, we understand it. We're going to be physical. We're going to play really sound defense. Hellebuck is ridiculous. And, you know, I mean, they fall behind 1-0 and that was it.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think they had a purpose to go out there, send a message, and then settle into playing hockey. And that's what they did. And so I've heard some people say, oh, it was a boring game, maybe because it wasn't 6-5. But I'll tell you what, from a defensive standpoint and every shift mattering, that was an exciting game because you take one shift off and boom, look, it was a Crosby turnover in the offensive zone, second period, kind of a tough change, and Dylan Larkin goes and scores on a 2-on-1, and that's it, ball game over. In the third period, Canada could not penetrate the middle. They couldn't get inside, and when they did, Hellebuck made a couple of saves. It was a great hockey game. Hockey game. Yeah, everybody, the coaches are terrific, the players are terrific, the passion, the intensity, it was all there. It was a perfect storm.
And as I was going to ask you about tonight, will USA, do you think they can have this same success defensively? I love Hellebuck. Hellebuck is the truth, man. But the play in front of him was perfect. Exemplary.
It was. You know, they're going to have pressure on them tonight, the U.S. I mean, winning that first game, the expectations are now there to do it again. And in a one-game situation, anything can happen. And let's be honest, probably the two best players in the world do play for Canada in Connor McDavid and Nathan MacKinnon. And they got going in that last game against Finland. So the confidence is there for them. You know, because before that, I thought in the U.S. game, MacKinnon looked tight. He looked nervous. He was gripping it. He doesn't look like he enjoys the moment. I mean, he's a super competitor, but man, it looks like the pressure kind of gets to him a little bit. But him scoring in that last game against Finland kind of worries me a little bit. McAvoy being out worries me. Think about this. When was the last time you saw Connor McDavid get smoked the way he did in that game against McAvoy? He's never been hit like that in his whole NHL career. He got hit twice. The rest of the game, McDavid, every time he came down McAvoy's side, what did he do? He dished it. He didn't want it. He didn't want it. Well, now there is no McAvoy. Adam Fox is not going to do what Charlie McAvoy did. So it's going to be different. This is going to be a different challenge for the U.S. Here tonight. It's always tough to beat a team a second time. Hellebuck may have to be a bigger story than what he was in that first game.
Hey, real quick, Boucher, switching gears to the Flyers. The trade. What was your thoughts on the trade? I mean, Frost, Farabee, I get it from Joe. We had Jonesy on yesterday talking about the cap space. I get it. I mean, I'm just curious what you think.
Listen, you hate to see two good guys leave. Very well liked guys in the locker room. But going forward, I think the team has bigger plans. And with the cap growing and potential guys getting the free agency or even the ability to make a trade, and you have to have that cap space, they needed the flexibility. So, you know, they've got 7 draft picks coming up in this year's draft. I hope personally that they don't use all 7 picks. I hope they use some of those picks to make a trade to get a real impactful player or two so that you can bolster this lineup and kind of speed up the process. And in order to do that, you need to have space. Farabee had a lot of years left on his deal. Frost was due to make a significant raise. So you have to make hard decisions. And we'll see. Maybe Jacob Pelche turns out to be a part of the future. Andrei Kuzmenko, his first game was very good. We'll see how it works out going forward, but he's got a lot to prove if he wants to stay in the NHL. The reality is this team has said all along that they're building for the future. They never lied about it. Whether you got excited about where they were in the standings or not, they've always said that they were building for the future for 3-4 years down the road so that they could be a contender every year, and they're trying to set themselves up. And I think a trade like that indicates that they are still on par with what they want to do for the future.
So what's it been like being able to watch call Michkov all season? I mean, you know, you made a great point about when the Flyers were playing the Capitals and Ovechkin, and you could see him try to impress Ovechkin. It was fantastic. It was a great point that you made.
Yeah, I mean, we all do it as players, right? You know, we come into the league. We've idolized players. I could remember when Patrick Waugh was my idol. I remember the first time I played him, I stared at him the whole warm-up and I didn't stretch. I forgot to stretch because I was so enamored with him being on the same ice sheet as me. So yeah, I mean, you want to elevate your play, and clearly Michkov did. And I think the game before, he was a game or two before he got benched against the Islanders. He was hungry, and he had a terrific game. The thing with Michkov is that it's a long season. He's having to learn that the schedule is much different, much more demanding, maybe a bit more of a physical style here. And he's had his ups, he's had his downs. But at the end of the day, you can see the talent that he possesses. And I think when you give him a little bit of leash to kind of, I said it in that game, he scored on a breakaway. He was gone. He took off while the Capitals were coming in. He has to anticipate when there's potential offense. And if you want to You can call it anticipation, you can call it cheating, call it what you want. But you got to give him a leash in order to be that type of player that he is. He's not he's not a great skater. So for him to skate 200 feet from his own zone, dead stop, playing defense, and then take off and go is a hard game for him. He's got to get a leg up on somebody. He's got to anticipate. He's got to use his mind, what he knows that could be a fast break opportunity, and take off. And then it's up to those guys to make a defensive stop and get the puck to him so that he can do what he can do.
It's funny, man. And when he has jump in his skates, my God, you can't take your eyes off him. I mean, I can't, listen, you've been with this organization forever. I mean, to have a kid of this skill, this young, it's just a joy, man. Like watching that kind of, when he gets going, sometimes you're like, holy moly.
And there's room for plenty of growth too. Don't forget, this kid's only 19 years old.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever learned to train the way these guys train over here. Let's see what he looks like in 4 years. We're going to look at him. We're going to be looking at a much different player than what we see here today. And all the tough things that he's going through right now, it's gonna pay dividends when this team is really on the rise, and a team that is being one of those teams that we think about as a competitor year in and year out.
What else you like? Anybody else stand out? Like promise? I know you got your eye out for the future. Anybody else kind of stand out to you at all
on the Flyers roster?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love Tyson Forster. I think he's such a good player. Like he's disruptive. He's long. He's not overly physical, but he's a smart player. Good defensively. He's got some offense. I think he's got more offense in him than what we've seen. I think when you add more talent around him, he'll be an impact player. I like Tippett. I think that he's had a bit of an off year, but I like the way that he's able to create offense by himself. There's not a lot of guys that have a ton of skill like that. Sanheim's been good. I like York. I think York's a competitor. I think the jury is still out on a guy like Jamie Drysdale. I still think he's got a lot of growing to do, and he's missed a lot of reps, a lot of time, and it's just going to take a little bit of time for a young defenseman like that. But I'm hopeful that he could turn into a good offensive defenseman that can quarterback a power play and be that extra wave of offense that teams desperately need on the back end. And I'm a fan of Sam Harrison. I know a lot of people probably say, he's not a bona fide top 10 NHL #1 starter, but I love his demeanor. I know he's had some injury issues, but I think he's a legitimate 40-game guy in the NHL. Like if you had a tandem where he played 40 and the other guy played 40, I think he can give you some real quality starts. If you saw the way he played against the USA the other night.
He played well. I mean,
he played great.
He really did. Great. USA didn't, and they didn't lay down. I mean, they played.
No. I like Sam, and obviously, Konechny's the motor on this team. That I feel like it just goes without saying. I'm glad he signed long term here because those guys that are drafted, Flyers that have been here. I think it's important that those guys, you develop them, they stick around, they're part of your culture, part of your family, they know the history of this organization. I think that you got to have those people that are the bridge from the past to the future and guys that get it. If you just start getting people who are transient, bringing them in, they don't understand, it doesn't work. So it's, the fact that TK wanted to stay here long term and he's playing the way he has, I think I love him too.
Hey, Brian, we've been reading a lot about and hearing a lot about the KHL goalie, Zev Varagin. Have you seen any video or seen him play at all, or what are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I have not. I mean, I've seen clips, but to say that I've sat down and watched a game, I haven't. I talk to Jonesy and Danny occasionally and ask questions. Sounds like he's grown, I think, 2 inches since they drafted him. So they kind of stepped into that one. They're like, who figures that at like 18, 19 years old, you get a growth spurt because you need size in goal. I think 6'3" is a perfect size. Sounds like he's good. We'll see. Goaltending is such a critical position in this league, and there's a lot of teams that don't have it. I mean, so many teams are searching for it. I mean, look at around the league. How many guys can you say like back in the day where you had, Patrick Waugh, Dominic Hasek, Ed Belfour, Roberto Luongo, Marty Brodeur, like those guys, of those go-to guys that play 65 plus every year, they're a dying breed. It's Hellebuck, Vasilevsky, maybe Shesterkin. After
Yeah.
that, I mean, it's pretty tough. Bob, maybe Bobrovsky you could put in there too, but after that, it's hard to find guys that are good, but they tend to get nicked up a lot these days because of the scoring chances. It's a hard position. Hopefully the Flyers have a good one in Zavergan, and hopefully the kid who's playing in the Western League too, Bjarnason, hearing good things about him too, good size. Hopefully he can develop into a good one, and there's significant depth in that position in the organization.
Hey, last thing, Bush, the game as a whole. I mean, the Four Nations is incredible, and so you saw the ratings. Like that felt great to see that kind of ratings for the tournament. How do you see the game right now? How do you feel about it?
I like it, but I mean, I think it can be better. I think if listen, I mean, the way that game went on Saturday, to play with that type of fire and emotion, it's impossible to do over 82 games, right? So I think, like any league, aside from the NFL, the regular season's a challenge for all leagues. The NBA is a disgrace. I mean, it's I mean, it's just it's disgraceful. I mean, to not play because of load management is just a joke. I mean, it's a complete joke. But you know, in the NHL, we have games you go there and they're duds too. Like, I mean, they're not exciting games. They're not what you saw on Saturday night. And this is a perfect time for the NHL to showcase what it can be at its peak level. And I think most people would say, most casual fans would say, I tune into the NHL when it's the playoffs. And I would agree with that, because that's when it matters. That's when the chips are on the line. It's not to what we saw the other night, but if we could find more cases where we can have games like that, more playoff type games, it'll only help. But the regular season is a challenge. But it's just impossible to match what we saw. You can't do it in a perfect time of year. Football's done.
Yeah.
It's in between March Madness.
Yeah.
The NHL has to find a way to capture this moment, to wet people's whistle for what's going to come in April in the playoffs.
No, you're spot on. I will say, like, the talent, like it's so much different than when you were coming up. Now the talent, because the talent level in the States is so much better, right? I mean, you see, you live it with youth hockey. How impressive the level of talent in this country is. Yeah,
the level is high. The skating ability, the puck ability, making plays, it's all there. The IQ. What's lacking though, Anthony, is the physicality aspect of the game. You go back to watching, hockey in '96 at that World Cup. I mean, there could have been a penalty every shift, and it was mean. And I think the thing that separates hockey from other sports is that we have that element of nasty, you know. And that's what you can have all the speed and skill and trying the lacrosse goals all you want. At the end of the day, when there's a one puck on the ice and you got to win a 50-50, who's going to win it? That's what people want to see, because why is UFC so popular? People want that controlled violence. They want it. That's why they love football. There's big hits. Those guys are warriors. You know what I mean? And in the NHL, we're kind of a blend, but it's impossible to do that over an 82-game schedule to match 17 weeks of that in the NFL when you play once a week. Those guys at the end of their 21 weeks of playing, they're dead. They can't move. Rightly so. And in the NHL, they have to pick their spots when they can play with that type of intensity. And that's why when you get to the playoffs, we see it a little bit more, but we don't see it the way we saw it on Saturday night. That was a complete one-off, and hopefully it returns again here tonight. There might be a lot of guys out of the lineup when the NHL returns on Saturday. After what happens here tonight. I can't wait. I am so fired up for this game here tonight.
I know. Me too, brother. Thank you so much for hanging out. We love you, man. You know that.
Hey, Boucher, if Jonesy asks you any more music, throw in some old school Motley Crue would be good for a goal song. If you want to change it up, throw some Crue in.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm down with that. I can go with that. What's Motley Crue? What's that? Give me the name of the song. I'm drawing a blank.
Looks to Kill, Shout
Looks
the
to
Devil.
Kill, yeah.
There's a bunch we could go with.
What's Cheese My Cherry Pie? What's that? Who's that?
Warren. No. We don't want no Warren. No, come on, man. You're talking about toughness. You throw Warren out? Come on.
I don't know. That's the one thing that came to my head.
Cheese My Cherry Pie. Somebody liked the video.
You know it.
Come on, man. How do you not? Boosh, we love you, brother. You're the best.
All right, guys.
Keep
go
JJ
USA.
In line.
What's that? JJ, yeah, I'll keep him in line. I'll slap him for you. All right.
Thanks, brother. You're
All
the
right,
best.
guys.
Here he is, Brian Boucher, checking in. He said something that is so interesting about being mean. In 96, it was mean.
Yeah.
The NBA in 96 was mean.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan,
Yeah.
Kobe coming, right? Like Iverson. Like, it was mean.
Yeah.
There was...
And
there was
people had
something about
edges, yeah.
it. There was something about it and I think people liked it.
Yeah, people liked it.
You know, it was mean. I love it. All right, lots to get to. My man from the editor's desk is coming up shortly. Take care of some business first. Let's, of course, this segment is brought to you by Parks Casino, the Bet Park Sportsbook Casino app. Download it. The brain was all over Mizzou last night.
Dude, between the three of us, we had 4 hits last night.
Yeah, because
Penn State hit,
right.
Mizzou hit, Kentucky hit, and there was another one. I had a 4-teamer last night.
Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas hit.
Yeah,
we were on fire
Arkansas.
yesterday.
I thought Arkansas would be good. All 4 of those hit, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was. Did you look tonight? I
haven't even looked tonight yet.
Well, we'll do it later in the show.
So excited about the Italian nominee, offensive coordinator. I can't even look at basketball.
Joey, what am I going to do with this? Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app, whether it's college basketball or the NBA's back, the NHL, right? Tonight, USA. What's the line tonight in that game?
Let me see.
I'm
I got
curious.
Bet Parks
I
open.
wonder. McAvoy scares me. He's right. Like, not having McAvoy is a big loss.
Canada's a slight favorite at -115. USA's -106.
All right.
So,
All right.
I mean, it's
USA,
basically
baby. Let's go. USA tonight. You can bet it on the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. Of course, all the casino stuff is so much fun. We talk about it all the time, right? You know, hundreds of slots, all these different games are a blast. The Squid Games, the Rocky slots, they're all over the place. And there's all kinds of fun stuff, bonuses and all. You can make your downtime fun time. In between periods watching the game tonight, you play a little live dealer blackjack or live dealer roulette, craps, or my man, he loves the baccarat.
Dude, they got the slots now. You don't even have to try and get a bonus. You could just buy a bonus. And be like, $10. I'll buy the bonus to see how I make out.
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw that. In fact, we were up at Parks. They were showing me that.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's usually more than 10 $. It takes a while to get a bonus sometimes. Sometimes you just want to buy it.
Man. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Anyway, check it out. You got to be 21. You got to be in Michigan, PA, New Jersey, Maryland, Michigan, Ohio. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Tell us about some ACE.
Oh, yes. We're here to do you a solid and help you out because home repairs are stressful. And if you got to hire someone, you never know who to hire, and everyone's got a guy. Well, you never know how that guy is. But Ace Hardware Home Services, they got people. You got a leaky pipe at Ace Hardware Home Services. They're around the block with everything you need to fix it, including the right people to do the fixing. Got a heating issue, air conditioning maybe, you want to get ready. Spring's coming. They got people for that. Got a faucet you said you fixed last fall. They got people for that too, because now they're not just the helpful hardware folks. They're also the helpful hardware home service and repair folks. From plumbing to heating and cooling, they've got trusted pros to keep your house humming all year long. Ace Hardware Home Services, they're bringing the helpful home, the helpful you love from the store, now right to your front door. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at www.acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next home project.
All right. Also, let's talk about Golden Nugget Jewelers. That's where Philly gets engaged. Look, every man needs certain things, right? Every man needs a hookup with a jeweler. It's the truth. You need a jeweler.
You do, yeah.
I mean, you need somebody that knows what they're doing around the house.
Yes.
All right? Because I don't. He doesn't.
Yes.
Right? There are a lot of things you need to know. Like, you got to know somebody that's an expert.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Your own. All right? That's my man. So yesterday, VG's in a crisis.
Yeah.
All right? Because the Pagans
the engagement ring lost her sapphire. She's like, my sapphire fell in my ring. I looked all through the house on the floor and stuff, can't find it. So we're gonna have to get a replacement sapphire for it.
So what are you gonna do?
I got Rose's number off you. I'm gonna go see him.
He goes, you want his number? I go, yeah. He goes, yeah.
Yep.
All right, go see your own.
Yep.
He'll take care of the Sapphire. If you're going to, pop the question, he's got the largest selection of certified diamonds. The designers for the settings like Tacori and Viraggio to make that thing pop, right? To make her melt. Any gifts, birthday, anniversary, Mother's Day will be here soon before you know it. So check out GoldenNuggetJewelers.com. Golden Nugget Jewelers right in the heart of Jewelers Row, Center City, 8th and Chestnut, where Philly gets engaged. All right. Now, let's go. Hear ye from the editor's desk.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
This just in, ladies and gentlemen, and all the ships at sea. It's time for headlines from the editor's desk with Pat McClune.
There he is.
How are you, boys? How are you, boys?
What's up, Pat?
Life as we know it post Eagles goes on.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I kind of
Yeah.
I miss it greatly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and what that means from the editor's desk is we go back to a little bit of everything. We have 5 topics. VG and Anthony, we have Eagles parade, Eagles future, Phillies, All-Star Game / NBA, and your 76ers.
All right. So before we start, is Patullo covered in the future?
No, not necessarily, but we could talk about that for sure.
Because I'm curious about what you think about Kevin Patullo as the new OC.
Well, I mean, I don't know. And that's, I mean, I'm in a state of grace with the Eagles. And they should be allowed that state of grace. I get that you might want some new thinking in there and stuff. And I get that some of the inside hires have not necessarily worked out before. But then again, I'm open to thinking that Kevin Patullo might be the next smart dude in the league. I mean, he could just be a smart guy that's going to get things done. He's going to be the anti-Press Taylor. I'm totally open to that. And I like that they were decisive about it. If you're going to go his way, I don't think you go his way after interviewing 5 or 6 guys and making a drawn-out process and making it appear that you tried to bring in somebody to top Kevin Patullo. So I was pleasantly surprised when that thing popped up yesterday and they said it. But the bottom line is that we're real close to this stuff and we follow it, and I think we know what we're talking about. But you really don't know. We're just going to have to see. And I am in that state of grace.
See, I love that state of grace. And here's the thing. I don't know why people go, well, you might want new thinking. Well,
why?
I don't know. Like, the offense
They
worked.
just put up 90 points
Right?
in the last 2 games of the playoffs.
They blew up.
Yes,
Exactly.
that's a great point.
50
That's a great
burger
point.
against Washington,
Yeah.
and they blow out the dynasty with a 40 spot. Like, what?
Against Spags. Like, come on.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
They
the
scored-
offense was pretty good to me.
They had 8 touchdowns in a playoff game. Do we need to
Right.
need to find a guy that's going to get us 9 or 10? I don't think so.
Right.
Exactly. Thank you. All right, let's get it started.
Get the
With
Sixers
the
out of the way. Yeah,
Sixers.
get that out of the way.
The bane of my existence.
The Sixers, did you say?
Yes.
Oh, well, yes. Well, I am happy to say that Philadelphia fans still have juice because Jason Tatum got booed off the floor at the Palestra last night.
You were there.
That was a good thing. Catholic League semis, a rare uncompetitive semifinal. There's always fireworks down there. But when Jason Tatum, and you know what? To his credit, he thought it was hysterical. I mean, everybody flipped out when they introduced Jason Tatum down there. And so that tells me that there is a city and a fan base that still wants to love the Sixers, but my God.
Or Pat, is it just Catholic League kids like to say the F word? Because they're like, bleep the Celtics, the whole student section too.
I love the fact that Jason Tatum came here.
That's great, dude.
I respect that to no end. I'll be honest with you. I hate to say because it's something, and the way I feel about the Sixers, I admire that.
It's all through.
Where was Paul George at last night? He wasn't in the building. He's on the bench.
Yeah, I don't think on his off day, Paul George can go to a high school game in Boston the other way around. Yeah, absolutely. And somebody made the point about Tatum. It's not his fault that Colangelo drafted Markelle Fultz instead of him.
Right.
So, but you know what? He's on the Celtics, so that's no good. Can't have that. Needs to be booed.
That's no good.
Yeah. So guess what, guys? Apparently, the Holy Trinity is going to tap off tonight. They're going to play against the Celtics. From my morning reading of Rich Hoffman's PHLY newsletter, the three of them are going to play. And the Embiid, George, and Maxey have only played in 10 games. They're 7-3. But it's funny how we just went through a very un-Philadelphia-like period of total confidence in the team. And I have absolutely zero confidence that this team can get it together and play in the playoffs. They could beat Boston tonight. I don't think they will. But it's going to take a lot for me, even before this season, which totally fell apart. It's going to take a lot for me in my heart to think that the Sixers can ever beat the Celtics.
No, listen, as much as we want that, crave that, need that, of course not. I mean, listen, how many times can you be a sucker, right? Like, honestly, I've been a sucker for a long time with that squad. No mo. All right?
Yes.
I can't do it anymore. All right?
And somewhere along the trail, listening to your shows, I listened to you about the whole issue of, and Devon followed me up last week, and they talked about Paul George and the problems he was having with taping those two fingers together. My God, there's got to be a kid on Moss's team that was put his two fingers together and was willing to play.
Yeah, it was Moss.
There you go. There you go. I mean, come on. That's something anybody could come over. They were acting like, oh, well, no wonder he only had 2 points. He had to tape his fingers together. Stop. Stop. Absolutely.
I mean, Pat, this dude, ew. I can't stand him. I can't stand like someone who doesn't care, right? Without passion for your craft, your game. You see this team languishing. Oh, I get fit. I understand that whole thing. But even more, he messed this thing up 7 ways from Sunday. Now you got Quentin Grimes in there. Like you got who handles the ball. It's just a mess. Ugh.
Yeah, and I saw when they signed Lonnie Walker, and I'm all for a local guy getting on the team. Oh, it'll be interesting in the second half to see what happens with Butler, Grimes, and Lonnie Walker. No, it won't be interesting.
No.
It won't be remotely interesting. Is that what we've come to? And even the things that would bring you some joy, that McCain seemed to have been a great draft pick, but the poor guy gets hurt. And then Justin Edwards from Impotep's playing a little bit. He's banged up. It's just one thing after another. And, you'd think that George would have some pride about, okay, I didn't come here to put a team on my back. I came here to be the final link to get a team that maybe can get into that next round of the playoffs. But now when both Maxey and Embiid are down, got to put your hard hat on. That's what they give you all the money for. I would take pride in the fact that, okay, well, this is the night, and I would feel better if he was like 5 for 31 from the floor that night and, went out and, okay, he had a bad night. He couldn't get it done. But it looked like he was willing to delegate to be the third best guy on the floor, even with them out. And so he's got to go come a while for me at least, and I think for a lot of Sixers fans too. He's got to come a long way to get back into our good graces.
Oh yeah, he got a long way. Here's the truth of the matter, though. Anybody in your right mind believe that the three of them is going to be healthy enough in a 2.5 month playoff run?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's twice now that Daryl Morey has had the cash and had a chance to move, and both times he went for guys who had been in the league 13, 14 years and who were kind of washed. And, I mean, I look back to when they got Harden, there was a lot of talk that they could have moved Simmons for Halliburton. I know that's what I wanted them to do back then. Use this stuff and come in with something that's got a little bit of youth and juice. I mean, you can't just have Maxey as the only guy that's got the youth and the juice. And, I think that this will follow from this to the next thing about the NBA and the NHL is the Sixers have their own team version of a problem the NBA has. The NBA is wildly lacking in young stars.
Yes. Hey,
really?
Are you putting the headlines up? Yeah. Come on, bro.
For the Sixers, it was by George. What a mess. And
by George.
Look at that face. Podcast
Podcasting away.
Yeah.
He's so happy.
He's in his happy spot.
Yes,
his happy spot is there in St. Bart's with his very, very beautiful wife. I'd like his happy spot being to get up in Brown's Grill tonight and see how that works out.
I like his happy space to be on the Clippers or somewhere else.
All right, NBA. Give him the headline.
Okay. For this is that not many stars in the sky. And this is the juxtaposition of the conversation you had with Boucher as opposed to the NBA. Everybody's trying to figure out this all-star thing. And the NHL seems to have it. I'm getting together with some guys I grew up with. I'm driving up to the Northeast to go to a pizza place tonight. And, we're getting an early start because one of my friends said that, he's got to get cut out of there for the Four Nations. He's really into it. And, this is a guy that was really into it, was at every Sixers game like 2 years ago. And right now he couldn't be bothered. But I'll tell you what, he's jumping for the Four Nations. And, back at the Daily News, Anthony, over the years, we used to always say, if all we had to do was cover hockey and boxing, it would be great. Because they're the most forthcoming people possible.
Yes.
The hockey guys have no pretense.
Yes.
They're a different breed, these guys. They're in a Four Nations all-star thing, and the next thing you know, it's 3 minutes into the game and the gloves are flying. You think anybody's going to bump into anybody or have anything at that NBA all-star game? I mean, they're flailing wildly. Last year, one team scored over 200. And you know what set me off this weekend as opposed to the hockey? I'm watching the stuff. I like watching the dunk. And so now they introduce, I watch a little bit on Sunday, and they're introducing the teams in this corny format. And they introduce one of the All-Stars. And it's James Harden. And I can't believe it. James Harden's still an NBA All-Star. I see the numbers, 21 points.
He's actually playing well.
And, everything's so low with the Sixers that even Philadelphia fans couldn't get outraged that Maxey didn't make the All-Stars.
Yeah, we had a little outrage, but you're right.
Yeah, come on. Everybody still loves Maxey. He's a perfect Philadelphia guy.
Yeah.
Well, you mean to tell me James Harden's an All-Star? Maxey's not? What is that league doing? I mean, the league's still built around Steph Curry and Harden and LeBron and
KD.
Kevin Durant. The only juice they have is Wembanyama.
Yes.
I mean,
Wemby. Yeah.
What a perfect thing you talked about with Boucher, because it's really on the money and it says a lot. the whole meanness factor. And he looks like a big string pole, but Wembanyama's got that a little bit.
I love him.
Wembanyama's saying, let's do this. You know, we can't really do USA against the world because there's not enough, you know, we would miss out on some. Let the USA have 20 guys on that roster. And then, you know, let's get at it and see how Jokic and those guys come up with something. But they need.
I think they're afraid, Pat. They're afraid of getting exposed because I think the Euros would beat them, and I think they get exposed.
Good. And I wonder if it's the fact that we're so disillusioned with the Sixers right now, guys, that some of the stuff with the NBA really starts to magnify itself.
Yeah,
I think the NBA's got problems. I really do.
Huge problems. Yep.
It's load management. It's back-to-back games. It's lack of young stars. It's guys dictating trades to the teams. And it's
look at Jimmy Butler. The fact that Jimmy Butler huffs and puffs until he gets sent to Golden State. Like, that should not happen. And there's Riley, who's the last guy on the wall, who's Jack Nicholson and a few good men, Colonel Jessup, and even he can't stop Jimmy Butler from leaving.
Somehow. In the NFL, which is the league that drives everything, yeah, they had their max contracts, and you know who gets it? 7 or 8 quarterbacks in the league. You know, some of the guys that are asking for max contracts and the stuff they're giving Paul George. One thing that really made it for me, Anthony, was for a while I was working in sports gambling and had a really good crew of guys around me. And it was centered in Charlotte. So a couple of guys actually lived in Charlotte. And, you know, my one friend Thomas down there, a really smart guy, our kind of guy, a young editor, word lover, sports guy. And he's trying to really get into Charlotte, but he's got the Panthers and Hornets. He sends me a text one day in December 20th. I remember the date. He says, the Hornets are resting LaMelo Ball and Mark Williams tonight. They're 7-20. You're resting LaMelo Ball and Mark Williams? What's going on around here?
Yeah, it's insane.
Come on, man. Come on. Look,
That's
if you want to rest
insane.
Embiid when you're, you know, if you want, we were all for that in the beginning of the year, but that was on the fact that they'd be in the second or third spot and they'd be positioning themselves, and you wanted to be Embiid without excuses. Okay. If LeBron himself needs to rest and he doesn't, okay. We're resting guys on 7-20 teams. It's crazy.
Who are young or in their prime. What are you kidding me?
Yes.
It's a freaking joke. It really is. It's terrible. The product sucks. It just blows. You know what? Again, the commissioner wrecked it because Adam Silver allowed the players to run it all. And what happened? It ran all over them. And you know what? They got a huge deal. They think everything's fine because NBC spent a fortune on the rights. But guess what? When nobody's watching, what are they going to do then? And when that league is completely devalued, what are you going to do then? There's no rivalries. There's no competitiveness. Where's Reggie Miller? Like that mentality. Kobe. Right. Where is the Kobe mentality? The Iverson mentality. Like that mentality is real. And you're right. Like, because everybody's goes from team to team to team to team, and it's all a love fest for Curry and LeBron and KD. And here's the issue. And so I love you brought up Wemby. Wemby said, a reporter asked him, "Oh, Wemby, are you going to get Steph Curry's autograph?" He's like, "Hell no, I want to beat Steph Curry."
Right. They need more of that. And I think that it trickles down into the culture of the younger players and stuff that you know, these entitlements. They need more guys. They need American guys that come up in the league and think they're better than KD and Steph Curry or whatever. I'm okay. In general, I'm all for respect and stuff like that, but I'd be okay with somebody coming in,
look at Kobe. Kobe's first game, he's a kid, and he's shooting air ball after air ball, and he's not dissuaded at all. Like that, so you need that. You need someone with stones, kids to come up. The kids have to save the league.
Yeah, and then, you just see in the NHL, you see, they see McDavid or somebody, and they say, look, he's not in my team, he's not in my country. I'm going to throw that guy over the wall.
Yeah. All right, that was good. I needed that. It's cathartic.
So now you got Eagles parade, Eagles future, or the Phillies?
Eagles parade.
Okay. And the thing I wanted to bring up here, and the headline is green and blue do mix.
Wow.
Oh, great one, Ant. Way to go, Andrew. You see where those trucks are lined by. And I just wanted to point out that I give a ton of credit to the Philadelphia police force and the entire plan around that thing. First of all, that many people in that small an area, in this day and age, there's part of that scares me. That's a Herculean task. And not only did the security get controlled, but the police did it in such a way that they made it for more of a festive occasion. I never saw in any of these parades more players get off the buses and mingle with everybody. It was beautiful, but you know what? That's a security nightmare. But the cops did such a great job in playing along. I saw a shot where a couple of cops did a push-tush for the fans while they were waiting for the buses. I saw the commissioner, Kevin Patullo, on the Parkway getting a photo with Big Dom. And I just really, everybody's looked at it. Everybody was in the moment. Everybody was celebrating. But I just want to take my hat off to the police force and how everything was there and how the Eagles and the police force made for the parade of all time.
Yeah.
Excellent point. Excellent. You're spot on. You're spot on. And you take it for granted, right? Because I know I did. You go, wow, man, it was fantastic. It went off without a hitch. Because like you worry about that. And this town that they has such the reputation that's not fair. And it was bigger than in 2018. And there was no incidents. I mean, one or two, and that's it. Where in this country would you get that many people, right, together and have it be just 99% beautiful? And you're right.
Yes.
The police did an amazing job. Amazing.
Yeah, some of those overhead drone shots and stuff with the crowd, it was just hard to believe. And it was a great way to pay tribute to the team. And it was great to see the players and, even, and it wasn't like Jalix Hunt was jumping off the bus and running around. That was Hurts with a cigar in his mouth. That was Saquon everywhere. Josh Sweat, Carter, all those guys. They got off and, they had a great time. And it was just a beautiful thing.
Beautiful. You're spot on, brother. Spot on.
Didn't want to let the parade march by without making that point.
I'm glad you did. It's a great point. All right.
So we're at Phillies and Eagles future.
All right. Let's go Birds future.
Okay.
And let's save the Fightins because the Fightins are the bridge next.
There you go. The immediate future is the Fightins. And so this is, the headline for this is, and for Howie's next trick. It's going to be really fascinating. And what a move that one was with Bond. And so let's talk about this. Is 4 for 4 even possible? I don't see how it can be, Anthony. Can you come out of this? We got a little help the other day. That's salary cap went up 22 mil. That made me feel a lot better about maybe a Bourne and Milton or Bourne and Becton combo. Where are you and VG? You got Bourne, you want Bourne, you want Milton Williams, you want Josh Sweat, you want Becton.
It's not even close. It's not even close. Like it's Zach Bourne up here, and they're going to re-sign him. I know they're going to re-sign him, and then it's Becton.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. The other two, I'm fine.
I think a lot of people would push back on you about Milton Williams over Becton. But the thing about Becton, and I know even, and Dave spoon-feed a lot of the stuff to these guys, Adam Schefter thinks Beckton's coming back.
Yeah, I know.
That they're going to work out something. That he knows that his career was resurrected. And I think a lot of it with Becton has to do with this. Can they count on him down the road as a tackle? I don't know. If they can count on him kicking out the tackle, you got to re-sign him.
Yeah, I listen. I think he was, again, I think he's not going to get completely blown away, right? Because he did it at guard. Because teams do know that when he is out of tackle, we saw that with the Jets. So I don't know how much he's going to get. I think it's a perfect situation here. I think he loved it here. I think he loves Stoutland. Like, Jeff Stoutland's not anywhere else but here. I think he loves it. I think he loves it. He already tweeted out he missed his guys. I just think it makes sense that you bring him back here. And I don't know how much it's going to cost. I'm sorry. I'm not breaking a bank for Milton Williams. I mean, if I can get him and it's fair, fine. But I don't think it's going to be. I think he's going to get paid. And I'm sorry, I'm not going overboard with that.
And the thing with the offensive line is that, if Becton rolls, then Steen plugs in, they'll be fine. But what happened was, and this is a crazy statement, won't be the first time I'm wrong, but it's a crazy statement to think that the Eagles' best offensive line did not include Jason Kelce. Because this year, the thing about Becton as opposed to Steen is this year they had an elite player at all four positions. Steen's a good ball player. They'd be fine with Steen, but Steen's not elite. Steen's not a Pro Bowler. They had a Pro Bowler at every position. And I am a little worried that they know Lane's coming back. And I think that over the next 3 years, that one of Howie's magic acts is going to be, whether it's in a trade or a move up in the draft or somebody, he really has his eye on who's the next Lane Johnson. And I think that's something critical for the future.
Agreed. I think you're spot on. It's one of the reasons why, too, I want to sign Becton because of that O-line. That O-line was the linchpin to their success. We talked about being able to run the football with Saquon, or giving Jalen that kind of time. That offensive line was incredible. You made the point. You're right on. That O-line was better than with Kelce, which is unbelievable to think.
Exactly. And look, the perfect offensive line would be, Kelce in for Juergens, but Juergens himself was a Pro Bowler.
Right.
Now let's talk defensive line as you did it. My slight concern there, and again, we're in a period of grace, is the sheer numbers of the D line. And that means that if you lose Sweat and Milton Williams and BG retires, now your numbers are down. Okay. And that poses, maybe you find the next Milton Williams in the draft. And I think you can in the defensive.
Yeah, it's a very deep draft when it comes to the D line.
And I'm sure Fran Duffy's got 3 or 4 guys that are sitting there at 30 that he's going to tell all the diehards and all your viewers. But it does bring up this question. Can Huff be saved?
Great question.
In an off-season, in an off-season with a guy that really knows that he didn't earn his money, can that be salvaged? boy, Vic made it pretty clear that there was no redeeming qualities, but I don't know. You don't know that he doesn't seem to be a bad. I don't know. If they could revive him, they're going to need a Jomo's going to be. He's got room to grow and all, but if you go down Sweat, BG, and Milton Williams, you need some help.
Yeah. Listen, you're right. Depth is an issue. And I don't know. Can Huff be saved? It's a great question, man. It really is. I do like a Jomo. I love J-Lix. I think J-Lix is going to be a player. He flashed to me already. I'm going, I like this kid. And we'll see if Davis can, because, he's got to play more snaps. Like, you can't have him taken where he was taken and not giving you the snaps. Now you need him to take a lot of snaps.
Totally agree. And hopefully it's a development thing over time. But he made some nice plays, key plays in the playoffs.
He did.
Almost every week he made one or two really good plays.
Yeah.
You know who else I think is a solid NFL guy? I think that Thomas Booker could take a step up.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
He wasn't bad. He wasn't a bad guy.
Yeah.
No,
I'm with you. Hey, this portion of the program is brought to you by Rite Aid. Go to riteaid.com for the nearest store and pharmacy. All right, number 5.
Here's your fighting Phillies. And we're gonna really enjoy soaking in spring training and getting ready for the season.
You are.
Pardon me?
You are.
I am. Yes. Off. Yep. First week in March. Off to watch the game with my wife. Had a big time down there with the Havertown boys last year, so I'm looking forward to that. A rare weekless from the editor's desk, so thank you for that. But we get a lot of talk about, so and I'm up for anything, but I just wanted to focus on a few things. And our headline for that is Handle with Care. And I'm really fascinated and I don't quite understand it, but I'm willing to play along. And I want to talk about both Painter and Ranger. And I'm not sure what's happening here with Painter, but I know the Phillies know what they're doing. And I know that the idea is to have him jump in there and pitch his innings on the major league level from July through October 1st and hopefully beyond. Maybe August, maybe late June, we'll see. But I'm fascinated that what that means for him between now and then. I know he's spoken that he feels like it's January to him right now. That he's going to be coming along, and it's funny that I'm ripping into the Sixers and the NBA for all this stuff, but this does make sense. It's a one-time deal. You're not doing this with Painter forever. When these guys come back from Tommy John, when they finally get back, they're usually really good. It really usually takes. And when it takes, you build the guy up. But what are they, I don't think he's pitching in the exhibition games. Is he gonna pitch 3 innings at a time and Clearwater? Is he gonna pitch a little bit for Redding?
A lot of sim stuff.
Yes. Yeah, and I mean it's that time and what you do to bide to get him ready is interesting, and it's got to be handled delicately, but something I've really never seen before, so I'm kind of fascinated by what they do.
I am too. I'm really interested in it. Look, in this day and age, I get it. I don't like it, but whatever. I just love the fact that Dombrowski is saying we're going to do it, but we're going to do it back part of the season because that's forward thinking, right? Like I never understood teams that are in the pennant race and they shut their young phenom down. It's like, what are you doing, man? The point is to win, right? Like that's the point.
Yeah,
so,
and it's just nothing to do with the falling back to Robin Roberts feelings about that,
Yeah.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Ranger, it's almost the opposite. How are the Phillies going to deal with Ranger so you have a full season guy? Ranger was through June 10-2 with a 1.75 ERA. Definitely one of the 5 best pitchers in baseball. Can you, bottle that over a whole season? How do you,
Well,
and it's not like it was an aberration. He seems like that's been the case with him every year.
Well, how about this? How about if you can get him through July, like into July, and then you go to a 6-man rotation, right? Like, assuming you're healthy, which, starting pitchers in health. But if you went with a 6-man rotation, I love Luzardo because he's got a great arm. At this point in their career, both Nola and Wheeler can use it. Those guys have pitched a ton of innings. So, you bring the kid up at the end of July, and then you roll with a 6-man rotation. And maybe that saves Ranger.
Yeah, that could be, that would be great. And, everybody seems to be down that Dombrowski didn't sign somebody for $400 million. And I get that to a degree. But how many teams put such a solid potential starter into their rotation like that? That was a great under-the-radar trade.
Oh, my God, Pat. I was arguing with a buddy of mine yesterday, T. Will. And T. Will was down on the Phillies. I go, why are you down on the Phillies? Like, well, just get me to training camp. I go, training camp? I go, they need to be in the I want to rent October.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we talking about here? And I go, he goes, what's good about them? I go, I love their rotation. The rotation is the top 5 rotation in baseball. If Romano, now I grant you that Romano was a big if, but he's got a great arm. And then, there's your closer, and you got great pieces around him, a lot of live arms around him to fill it out. I mean, so I like their pitching staff. And, come outfield, I think he waits for the deadline, and then he gets his outfielder.
Yeah, and there's enough in that, and we'll be talking about it in subsequent weeks. And there's enough upside in that lineup. We know where the lineup could be. We know who they are.
Right.
But we know that I take a lot of hope in that we're going to see a better Turner.
Yes.
We absolutely will see a better Stott. I'm convinced of that.
Yeah.
Stott's a near all-star to me.
Yeah.
And he was far from that at the end of last year. There's a lot, of growth. There's a lot of growth potential.
Trey. It's all about Trey. Trey's got to be the player he once was. I mean, he's got to be close to that. He's got to bat leadoff, and he's got to bring that back. Like, he's the key to that lineup kind of fixing itself.
Yeah, I remember distinctly when the Phillies got Turner, and there were videos out there, and I think there were Phillies produced videos to tout him and all. And one of the things they said was, considering the makeup of their lineup, that Trey Turner was one of these guys who was slump proof. And that was, he would.
Wow.
And you know what? That has not been the case.
Yeah.
He is very prone to slump. And, boy, if they had a slump proof guy, and he came, God bless, he had his 3rd kid. He showed up at camp, and they talked about the lineup. And the first thing he said is that, if I lead off, I'll steal more bases. And that's a good attitude. I'm all for that too.
Yeah, I think he should. What do you think?
I think I'm down with this plan. I think there's a Kyle Tucker plan in place. I think the Cubs are going to underachieve, and he's a free agent after this year. And I think Dombrowski's
Kyle Tucker. I don't even know why Kyle Tucker left Houston.
I know.
Kyle Tucker's a hell of a ball
And Chicago
player.
hasn't ever negotiated a new contract with him. He's playing under a 1-year deal.
I don't understand
And
that.
I kind of think with the Painter stuff, I think I like the Marty Bystrom plan. Bring him up in September, 5 or 6 starts on fire.
5-0,
Marty. Yeah, man. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm just interested in what he does in the interim. I mean, that'll be great. We're going to be starving for morsels on Painter, and we just might not get them.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I think they're good, though. I don't know. I mean, I think they're going to be fine. I would be shocked. People are talking about the Mets, and I still think they're better than the Mets and the Braves.
Let's see the Mets go a full year.
They're still top heavy,
right?
The Mets,
and let's see. Acuna's coming back. The guy's played more than 80 games twice in the last 5 years. Like, just because he's coming back doesn't mean he's sticking around.
Staff, God bless Strider.
Right.
And Chris Sale's fantastic, but Chris Sale's older.
Right, let's see if he does that back to back.
Yeah,
but I mean, even if they're good, every odds maker's got the Phillies one of the top 5 teams in baseball. So I don't know how anyone could be down on the Phillies right now.
I'm not. There's enough teams to be down on. I'm looking forward to everything that they do.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you, my brother, as always, from the editor's desk.
Okay, boys. See you next week.
Thank you, Pat.
See you, Pat.
The great Pat McClune. Always just gives us so much great stuff.
His segment always feels wholesome. And I like that feeling about it.
It's great sports. I like the sports piece of it.
No, I mean, it makes me. It's like a good soul piece. It makes my soul feel good whenever he's on.
Hey, let's talk about some Glatt.
Oh yeah,
Glatt.
Know what else makes you feel wholesome? A good head of hair. So if you're receding and thinning out, give a shout out. Go reach out to our people over at Glatt Hair Restoration by Morgenstern Medical. It's established by the late Dr. Paul Glatt, now under the direction of renowned plastic surgeon Dr. Ken Morgenstern and the Morgenstern Medical Center. So what makes Glatt Hair Restoration by Morgenstern Medical better than the rest? Well, first of all, it's the same peerless approach to care, same expert team, same unmatched Glatt system. Each member of this team is specifically trained. They have over 30 years of experience, and all they do is hair restoration. They don't mess around with anything else. They're the hair restoration specialists. Glatt Hair, they can help you with all stages of hair loss with leading-edge treatments for prevention and restoration, including laser light therapy, non-invasive TED treatments. Each patient receives a complimentary one-on-one consultation to pinpoint your best course of treatment, and they have a caring patient advocate who will work with you from your first phone call to your last follow-up visit because they know it's a stressful and challenging time. Glatt Hair, they're not just about restoration these days. They are about innovation. Their breakthrough treatments dramatically do change lives. Change your hair, change your life. Bald is now optional if you want to improve how you look and how you feel about yourself. Glatt Hair's got the right treatment for you, so regain that confidence. Visit GlattHairMCTR.com or call 610-980-4000 to get started.
There it is. Glatt. Hey, let's talk about Parks Casino. It's always fun. Our boys ready to go. You guys are warmed up.
Yeah.
Parks Casino, my casino of choice, action and excitement, headline entertainment, concerts, comedy, MMA, boxing, all at the state-of-the-art Excite Center, plus thousands of slots, live table games, state-of-the-art sportsbook, beautiful poker room, collection of award-winning restaurants. Parks Casino, this is how you win. Pennsylvania's #1 casino, 3,200 hot slots, over 115 live table games, and more. Tickets on sale now for these headliners. Here you go, boys. March 7th, Scotty McCreery, American Idol.
Just give me 5 more minutes.
Joey's looking over. March 8th, magician Michael Carbonaro.
Hey, I'm the magician of the year. Believe me.
March 22nd, country star Lee Brice.
There's a rumor going around about me and you. This rumor never dies.
Yeah. You guys going to pick a new song?
I don't know.
He's the only one I know.
Yeah, I'll go find another one.
April 24th, Live, the band.
The angel opens her eyes. The confusion sets in.
There you go. I like that.
Oh, now I feel it coming back again.
Yeah.
Oh.
You like them, Joey? Yeah.
He's a big, cool, big live fan.
May 16th, comedian Larry the Cable Guy.
Get her done.
June 27th, comedian Trevor Wallace.
I got to look up Trevor Wallace. What's he doing?
July 12th, comedian Mark Normand.
Mark Normand? I don't know either. Trevor Wallace.
All right, there you go. Don't forget dinner and drinks before the show. ParksCasino.com to buy tickets for all shows. Parks Casino. This is how you win. You got to be 21. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Parks Casino. All right, last night, big night at the Palestra. Danny D! Where you at, Danny D? Danny D! Our man, the AD, Danny D, as big night last night. The semifinals of the Catholic League basketball last night. And what's up, brother? How you doing, buddy?
What's up, brother?
Good to see
What
you.
you doing? Big event that you put on?
It was awesome, man. It was a sellout. Sold out last night. The championship is Sunday, and tickets are going fast. It might sell out today. We'll hopefully release some against Friday because we'll have some tickets coming back from the schools, but I don't foresee it being available on Saturday. So we'll be sold out a couple days in advance. 2 great games last night. Atmosphere was electric. We had a special guest.
Well, tell us about this because Jason Tatum
Yeah.
showed up last night, which I give him tons of. I thought that was cool. I mean, I hate the Celtics, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But can I be honest with you? I love him. Like
Yeah.
I do. I can't believe I'm saying it, right? But I love the fact he showed up. That's a strong move.
Yeah, it was really cool. So they're in town. Obviously, they play the Sixers tonight.
Yep.
I'm friendly with Drew Hanlon, who trains
Yes.
Embiid.
Yeah.
And he also trains Tatum. And then this guy, Mike Morak, who runs the Rumpf Classic. So Mike is also friendly with them. And they call me up. They're like, hey, he wants to stop by. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll figure it out. I'm like, where's he at? They're like, he's walking up right now. So then
Wow.
yeah. So we had to grab a couple security guards and just meet him at the gate. Obviously, people start going crazy. And naturally, Philly, he's walking across. I find him some seats that were actually set aside for prep donors. So they weren't there yet. So I had to figure out. And student section are chanting, bad things about the Celtics. They got on him right away.
He loved
man.
it though, right?
Yeah, it was awesome. So I briefly spoke to him and I was like, yeah, this is a really cool event. He's like, man, what's this, the state championship? And I'm like, no, it's just our league playoffs. He's like, wow, like that's crazy, right? Like he thought it was like the state championship event. It was just the semifinals of our league. Selling out 9,000 people. So
at the Palestra. What do you think of the Palestra? He loved it.
Man, yeah, he was like, this is awesome, man. Like, it's a really cool place. And that's what I told the guys when they called me. I'm like, there's no boxes to put him in. Like, he has to like sit in
with the people.
With the people. Like, I can't hide him.
Yeah.
So they had team dinner at 7:30. So he came for a good 30, 40 minutes. And then oddly enough, the prep donors whose seats he were in came up. I had to like tell them they had to wait. Really good guy. This guy, Tony Hayden, he's an alum. He gives back to the school. He was completely understanding.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
But yeah, so that was really cool. But big time, and then Mark and Aaron were there. So people might not, but they were big time players in their day. So
oh my God, Aaron McKee, you kidding me? Of course.
Big time guys. Marvin Harris was in the building. So we get a lot of
Marvin was in the building.
Yeah, you get a lot of big time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of people come out. But great event. The games were one-sided and to the point. So Roman won big, and then Judge beat us big. And they were 2 teams that were in the game last year. They were in the semifinals. Devon Prep and St. Joe's Prep is the first time for these groups to be in there. And the big lights can get you, man. You're not – the energy, everything's different.
What happened to the squad?
We were flat, but Judge shot 70% from 3. I mean,
dude,
wow.
They couldn't miss.
Yeah.
70%.
Yeah, in the first half, 70%.
The prep struggle from 3, and the prep Judge is big.
Yeah,
they had some size.
Yeah, they got a big kid going to Loyola, big kid, really nice kid. Barnes, and then their role players. I mean, they're like their 5th option. This kid Rocco Westfield, super tough guard.
Dude, he was lights out.
Philly guard.
He was lights out last night.
6 threes in the first half. I think he averaged like 9 points or something like that.
6 threes in the first half.
Dude, everything he put on was going
lights out.
Damn.
But like he
That's
also
showing up, man.
Yeah, and he like made all the hustle plays. Like he's a tough kid, man. So very big shout out to Rocco at Judge. He played awesome last night. And we I think the lights. I think the moment. It's 9,000 people. Everyone's trying to do a little too much, but we had a great season. We went 13-1 in the league, and then it's over, man.
Just like that.
But that's our league, man. That's how competitive.
That league is unbelievable. So who was the other game again?
And then it was Roman versus Devon Prep.
That's right, Devon Prep. Yeah.
So Roman's going for a 3-peat right now.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Judge shoots like that. I think it'll be hard for Roman to compete, but
it'd be hard to shoot like that.
Yeah, I think it'll be hard to replicate it again.
Yeah. How do you now for people to watch? They want to go down. I know tickets gonna be tight, but give us a thumbnail of that game, like who to watch.
Yeah, so Judge has a big fellow, Ernest, going to Loyola. They have a point guard who is so tough. This kid, Kavar Kennedy. He's going to Merrimack. But he's
they had a kid. I don't know if that's him. The kid 5, he jumps through the roof, man. He was
5 is Nazir. No, 3 is Nazir Tyler. He's a sophomore. 0 is Rocco Westfield. Super tough kid. And then they got some Philly Catholic League legacy, DJ Rivera, who played at Newman. His son is a junior. Yeah, so Derek Rivera had a huge career at Newman.
Yeah.
Won a couple championships for Carl. And then he went on to play at St. Joe's in Binghamton. But his son is a junior at Judge, and he's a lights out
Is he
shooter.
really? How come he didn't go to Carl?
I think the mom might live in the Northeast.
Gotcha.
So I think it was more of
DJ was a great player.
Great player, so athletic.
Yeah.
We played at the same time. So when I was at Roman, he was at Newman.
Yeah, he was a great player.
It's not your mom's Catholic league. There's a lot of dunking going on. It's not like back in the day.
Yeah. So they have him. So yeah, they have a really good team. They got role players coming off the bench, so they're really good. And then Roman beat Devon Prep. Roman has Mark Jackson's 2 sons.
Yeah, Marcus. Yeah.
Sammy and Sharif. Sharif's going to go to Lafayette. And then Sammy is a junior. He's getting recruited pretty high. Like, I think Marquette's on him. Villanova's on him. He's like a 6'7", 6'6" shooting guard. He's good, man.
He's good, huh?
Yeah, and then they have a point guard, Tyler Sutton, who's like a top 40 kid in his class in the country.
Is he really?
So, yeah, he transferred in from the George School this year. So, they're really good. And Devon Prep, credit to them. They had a great season, but
did they beat who beat Newman already?
Judge did in the 4-5 game.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean Judge finished from 4th.
Wow, man, they beat Newman Goretti and then they beat you guys.
They're on a heater right now.
And they're scoring in the 8. They scored 90 against Newman. They're scoring.
They scored 90 against Carl.
They scored like 85 or 86.
My God, that's unbelievable.
They are. They're shooting right now. They're hot. So
damn,
we'll see.
That's a run.
We'll see.
I was hoping they get blown out. Like I'm, anti-judge guy myself.
I know you are. You hate the judge.
EBG were locked in last night. He's sitting down in the first row. He's right there.
Yeah, you took care of VG.
Yeah,
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
There's nothing like it. Like it's so cool that what you guys do and put on like that. That's the essence of Philadelphia.
It's a huge event, and we have this guy, Steve Haig. He does the media for us for the event, and me and him work together. He works for the diocese. He gets hundreds and hundreds of media requests. But then, there's only 30, 40 spots you can put on the baselines.
Right.
So it's limited, but just shows you the event. And in this world with social media, everyone has a camera.
Sure.
So he's getting 500 media requests. So we have to decide how to get that down to 30. But then, CBS was there last night. ABC is going to be at the championship. The Enquirer sending 4 people.
Wow.
When's the last time the Enquirer sent 4 people?
Really?
Or something, right? It's so they're going to have 4 on Sunday, the championship. It's a truly special event. The pleasure is
it's the greatest. What coaches, what schools, what universities are there?
So Syracuse was in the building last night.
Hughes! He's a Hughes guy.
Hughes was in the building.
You know that? He's a big Hughes man.
I didn't know that, but they were in the building. And it was tough. I found out last minute. So we only had, they were up top. I didn't have, if there was any seats. If you don't get in early.
That's it.
Yeah, man.
Listen,
but I mean, there's not
put them out. You're lucky they're in the building. I wouldn't have let him in.
I mean, up top's like the 30th row.
I would have let your seats are in the carrier dome. You can see it on your iPad.
There's not a bad seat in the building, though.
No, not really.
The corners, the deep corners, and that's how I was telling VG. If you can tell when it's really packed when the people are in the deep far corners and you can see people up there.
Yeah.
I mean, I put together it's not no Scorsese, but I got a minute worth of my clips I jambled up together.
I love it. Let's do it, man.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Let's see it.
It was really cool.
Hey, Drew.
The judge had an extra. This kid had a nice shot for Devon Prep.
Yeah, he was good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we in the student section 4 or 5.
There's Tatum.
That's great.
He's getting shredded by the kids right now.
Emil Jefferson, a Philly legend. Played at Duke.
Yeah.
So Roman kids celebrating with their team afterwards.
That's right. He coaches the Celtics now.
Yeah. So
Bill Jefferson. Yes.
So, he was kind of. I think he was also telling me, "You got to
There's the night.
That's cool, man.
I didn't do much of the second game. I edited it all. I'm putting no clips of the second game for the most part.
That's great stuff, man.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's what a quintessential Philadelphia.
Yeah, like the
hoops, man. Like Philadelphia, that's better basketball than you're gonna see tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And then
it's a harder ticket to get into there. Tonight you get in the door for $20.
Yeah.
Crazy Sixers Celtics.
Well, here's the thing.
You get in the door $20 for Sixers Celtics.
This is what I love, right? This is why I may respect that Jason Tatum's in the building. Where was Paul George at last night?
He's podcasting, man. He's got a new episode of the podcast.
Nothing, right? But the Celtics in the house.
Right.
Showing some love to Philadelphia basketball, right?
For sure.
You got to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like last year for the championship, Kobe Dean came. So we're expecting.
The Kobe was there.
Yeah, last year him and Jordan Davis came through
nice.
For the championship. So
I love that.
We'll see if they have time. I'm sure they're still on high, but if they can come down, we'll see if they can make it. And then, but I talked to Jay Wright about this. He was telling me Big Five games can't do this. When they bring in teams, they can't sell it out. Like it's crazy that a high school event is the constant.
What is that? It's such an interesting dynamic, right, of our city. That especially now, our Big Five is down, man. There's not a lot of juice. Now I get it. Teams are languishing. I mean, geez, Temple lost yesterday again. They lost in overtime to Charlotte, man.
I love that staff. I'm real close with that staff. So
I know. I love Fisher.
Fisher's a good guy. Chris Clark, Bobby Jordan. Got James.
I mean, the problem is, again, they need Mashburn healthy, and he hasn't played. No, but you can't lose to Charlotte, man.
No, that's a game they got to win. Sure. They've had some big wins.
And they just lost every close game.
I know. Yeah, I think they could get hot though and make a run in their tournament.
It's Villanova played UConn tough the other night.
They did.
They're a roller coaster, man.
They are.
They're a roller coaster.
But what is it about that is half dead?
Yeah.
But high school ball is popping.
Yeah, I think we have a ton of talent now. I think if we kept more of our talent,
I was just going to ask you, why is it so hard for the local colleges to keep the kids here? I mean, I know from coaching,
yeah, I think it's a
some parents want their kids out of the city.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. I think pre-NIL it was easier. Villanova got a lot of local guys.
Right. Yeah.
Now the NIL landscape has completely changed.
It's different, man. You're right.
It's completely changed it. But before it was we still. Nova, LaSalle, Temple, they were still getting a decent amount. They weren't always hitting, but they were getting a decent amount. Even then, Penn State had that years with Chambers where they got all the kids from Roman and they made a run. They would have been they were a top 12 team in the country before COVID had that year. So, when you can get our talent together, I mean, we have
because you're mentioning in Lafayette, Merrimack. I mean, they don't seem like big NIL schools.
They're not, but the main programs, the higher programs, are going after kids in the portal. So high school kids got to start lower.
Right.
Well, that's the new thing. That's, in fact, one of these appearances, because you're going to hang with us every Thursday.
Yeah.
We should talk about this because it's really, I was having a conversation when it came to college football that because scholarships are down, you got teams that are just going, the schools just looking at the portal.
Yeah, they shrunk the roster size. So scholarships are still equivalent the same, but walk-ons were huge, preferred walk-ons. They cut that number down considerably. So now those kids who could produce themselves, like Lad McConkey, he was a walk-on.
He was a walk-on, yeah.
Right? So those guys, there's pros that are walk-ons that just haven't developed or haven't had that opportunity yet. And now they got to start lower or, they got to go D2. They got to go JUCO. JUCO's going to be big now because.
Yeah, JUCO's the next frontier that's going to pop.
Yeah, because they're not counting the years.
Yeah.
Right.
And you need, and by the way, that's where they're going to go, get seasoned, get big, get strong.
Yeah.
And it's going to work.
For sure. But about the event, I think, one, it helps that it's 2 nights a year, right? So,
yeah.
But, I mean, everyone comes out. I mean, I woke up today with 300 text messages.
Did you really?
300. I have my phone. I didn't look at my phone until 9 on purpose. I had 300 text messages. I mean, and guys that love it, city councilman, like Mark Squilla, he comes every year.
Yeah.
He texted me this morning.
Yeah.
I love it. The city, from city council to professional athletes to, ex-athletes,
it'll be a who's who.
Yeah, and then a lot of times people don't even know. Like Fran Dunphy every year would just come in and sit in the far corner, right? Like big time college coaches, Aaron, they don't want to be bothered. They sit up in the corner. They just want to watch a good environment, good basketball. But when it's sold out, the energy in there, it's unmatched, and you just feel it in that building, man.
That place is it was funny. I walked by the other night. I spoke to Penn baseball, like John Yurkow, and I love John, Coach Yurkow over there, because they actually play Florida State.
Oh wow!
To kick off the season, Florida State's got the #1 pitcher in the country.
It's crazy
that they're facing. But yeah, I'm walking by the Palestra because the event was right next door. And I'm looking in and I'm just going, this place is just mad. What a great place.
Yeah.
Just the best.
It's awesome. And Penn staff, they're super nice to us down there. They take care of us. You know, their operations guy, Mike Mance, Mike Martin, Joe Hockey, these guys take care of us and they know what a good event looks like. Now, you know, Penn Princeton used to always sell out.
Oh yeah.
Now they're getting like 4,000 people. So like this is the event that carries it. And I talked to you about it. I think that someone should one day it's going to be a movie or a documentary talking about like how this league has helped keep this historic venue.
No, I love it. It's a great doc. It's a great documentary because it's true. It's this amazing venue. So what you're doing is you're mixing the old with the new, right? With the babies, with the young kids, and that youthful energy that infuses this, gloried place.
So Tony Card played at Penn State. He's playing overseas now. Legendary Roman guard. He was there last night. He was home for 2 weeks for overseas at the game. Shep Gardner played at Penn State. He's on FGCU staff now at Chambers. And I saw both of them, and they were just like, man, this was like the highlights of their career, though.
Yeah.
Like this kid who played at Carroll, Josh Sharkey, he's playing overseas. He put it on his Instagram today. He was like, nothing's better than ever playing there. Like that was the highlight of their career. And these guys are playing professional. They play college. Yeah. And they're saying that this high school game that they get 1 or 2 nights in, maybe in their 4 years,
it's the best.
Is the best. So it's truly special. Appreciate you stopping down, VJ.
Dude, man, that's fantastic.
Hoping to come out Sunday. It's a great time.
What time? 1:30?
So the girls are at 12:30, and the boys will be at like 2:30,
2:45.
So yeah, you guys are more than welcome. Come down. It's going to be a sellout. I mean, it's going to be packed. Judges in the championship. I think this is the first time since '98.
Wow.
Guy I work with at the prep, Josh Royer, was on the last championship team. So shout out to Josh.
That's awesome, man.
It's been almost 30 years. So
congratulations.
I don't need to hear my Northeast friends brag.
Philly is going to be out. I'm telling you,
Northeast, forget about it. It's going to look like North Wildwood.
Yeah, it's going to be a Wildwood convention down there. Yeah. And even the staff, like Judge's staff, you're like Jimmy Reeves, play a Judge, big time Keenan's guy. They're all going to be out. The whole staff.
All of North Wildwood will be rooting for Judge.
And then Roman's the Empire, so so they're gonna show out too.
That's right.
They're gonna show out too. I mean, I think they're up to like 34 Catholic championships in basketball, so they're the standard.
They are the Empire, man.
They're the standard, but
and my man, he's working down there. He's in charge of pretty much everything.
Danny's big time.
Yeah.
He runs that whole thing.
Yeah, he does.
Danny.
I get a lot of help. There's the guy who's a chair of the league is BJ Hogan. He's awesome, and Steve Haig. They help me immensely. But it's a huge event, and it helps with the support of others. It's
the best.
We got a team. We got to work together like in any sport. But yeah, I'm excited. And so try to get tickets today. You can go to ALPathletics.org and click the link. They'll be on there for the University of Penn. They're going to go, and then hopefully we have a meeting tomorrow down there if there's any give back from schools where we put them tomorrow afternoon. So
nice.
Keep checking the site. I'm confident by Friday afternoon there will be no tickets.
Yeah.
That's really cool to have.
Refresh, baby.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. My brother, great work as always, man.
Appreciate you.
Danny D, the AD. We still having lunch tomorrow?
Yes, sir. Lunch.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll see you tomorrow.
Danny D, the AD. That's right. Oh, we love him. All right, time for the Rite Aid. Back in the day moment. Back.
We're going back. We're going back. We're going back in the day with Rite Aid. Yeah!
Do a little good times of basketball, fun times of basketball, times that they make you smile. Little game of horse between George Gervin and Pistol Pete.
Oh, that's cool, man.
We'll just watch like 30 seconds. It goes on for like 3 minutes.
I love it.
Let the good times roll.
This is great.
Still Pete Maravich,
I
a former
remember this.
NCAA and
They
NBA scoring
They
champion
did this.
against George Gervin, the current scoring champion in the league. And so to lead away, George Gervin of the San Antonio Spurs has won the toss, and he fires up a jumper off the glass.
Wow, look at that. They were showing like
And the
between.
pistol had too much on you.
There's like nobody. It's like a half-empty small gym. Like, where are they?
The lighting is so funny with all the shadows.
Gervin, a spectacular player, an over 50% shooter from the backcourt.
Right out of bounds.
Look at
Now
that hair.
Pistol Pete.
Who is
Off
this?
the backboard, straight out.
I was
Going to
like,
go
is
into
this
his bag of
Stockton?
tricks, and he has got a lot of them.
No, it's not Stockton.
No.
They say of George Gervin, he can shoot over just about any
His
guard in the
name
league,
goes-
and anyone he can, he
Yes.
can drive around.
No
Everson?
step,
No.
straight
No,
out.
not
straight out.
Enberg. You're thinking Enberg.
Yeah. It's pretty funny seeing
This is awesome.
right,
This
sit
is
down.
so like
Make a layup.
rudimentary.
Yeah.
Look, he's gonna take it easy.
gonna sit down. A layup. Sit down.
Backboard.
Pistol can make that ball talk, I think.
Oh my God.
George wasn't
Does he
expecting
make
all
it?
this sitting down.
Yeah, well, this will be it. We'll finish it.
George Man is the Ice Man make
Look closer.
this.
There you go.
There you go.
Settle right in there, George. And
Set her right in there,
so I think it's
George.
a first-time
Don
shot for
Cricky.
George Gervin.
Oh, you're right.
But he's
Good
got it
call,
down.
Yeah, Don Cricky.
Nice call.
Look at that. That's when we were little kids.
I had the Iceman poster.
Yeah, with the ice.
Yeah,
he was
sitting on an ice throne.
Yeah. Yeah, the ice throne. It looked like that was the original like Game of Thrones type of dude. That's fantastic. All right, that's going to do it for us. Yo, Andrew, great job today. And listen, Andrew lost his uncle, and we send our prayers to your family, our love. All right,
Appreciate
brother.
that. Thank you. Appreciate that.
You know, we love you, buddy. Great work as always. Joey's back from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Living the life, my man. Good job, buddy.
Skate life.
All right. Tomorrow.
Friday.
No football Friday. No football Friday.
It's okay. We'll get through it together.
I need your help.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody have a great day. We love you. Be careful. See you in the morning.
We all silly like the mayor.